One of the largest trucking companies in America just filed for bankruptcy. We're talking about Yellow. And if you've ever been on a highway, you probably recognize their famous orange logo with black lettering. The company reported a massive debt of about $1.5 billion last year. But they've been in business for nearly 100 years and employed 30,000 people.
That's big. Yellow said it expects to reach an agreement with its creditors, pending approval from the court that will allow it to pay certain wages and benefits, as well as some obligations to vendors and suppliers. Mike Landi is the owner of Landis and Sons Trucking, LLC. Your grandfather was a former employee with Yellow. Brian Brase is an Ohio truck driver and co-organizer of the People's Convoy. So the CEO of the Yellow Trucking Company put out a statement announcing the filing. Let's get to that. In the statement, he said, quote, "Today it is not common for someone to work at one company for 20, 30, or even 40 years, yet many at Yellow did. For generations, Yellow provided hundreds of thousands of Americans with solid, good-paying jobs and fulfilling careers." Mike, your grandfather worked there as a long-haul driver. What was it about the company that compelled him to work there as long as he did?
Yeah, he did 35 years there, 3 million miles of safe driving awards. And he liked that, he could go to work. He would either run Columbus, Ohio or Greenville, Tennessee out of Lancaster, PA here. And, the way they operated, he'd go in, get in a truck that was already hooked up, ready to go, drive to Greenville. They put him in a hotel at night. He drives back the next day. And he made really good money. I mean, he retired in, I think, 2005-ish, early 2000s. And what he was making then was more than what your average person probably makes now. It was very good paying job at the time, and a very solid company to work for, one of the largest in the LTL industry, obviously, at the time, other than like, overnight or roadway.
Well, clearly thousands of people were in a similar position as your grandfather. They found a home within the company here. But Brian, the news of the bankruptcy, what sort of impact is this going to have on the trucking industry at large?
Well, it always hurts the trucking industry when a major company like that has to file for bankruptcy. But the fact is that Yellow Freight's been struggling for 30 years, quite honestly, with its debt. And the Teamsters have done nothing to help them, really. They basically sold out their employees, their members. And what will happen is all of the contracts that Yellow has, those companies are going to be sticker shocked by what the other carriers are going to charge to haul their freight, because now they got to make room to try to squeeze those customers into their normal routine.
So, Mike, let's expand on that with the Teamsters and these unions. What does it mean? How have things changed with unions? What does it mean with these licenses that you need to get, the CDLs? How much more expensive is it?
Yeah, so for your average person, I mean, and here in Pennsylvania, it's like $200 and some just to renew your license every 4 years to have a CDL, which obviously seems like a minimal amount of money, but you have to obviously go to school and be able to pass a driving test, a written test, and know all this stuff about trucks to have it. So, obviously we're not considered a skilled profession, and I would actually place some blame on the current driving schools and the state of drivers that they're putting out right now for that. But in terms as far as what the union and stuff does for them, both my grandfathers actually were Teamsters, one UPS and one for Yellow Freight. And, it worked out great for them. However, they were in it long enough that they've seen it kind of from the earlier days to the later days. And they both actually told me to not go down that road. And, Yellow Freight, such a large company, the way they operated, okay, like those guys don't even need to hook up their own trucks and trailers or fuel them. They paid people to do that. So all they had to do was come and drive the truck. They had so much overhead, the shops that they had, which was an awesome way to run a business. Don't get me wrong. But owning a trucking company now and seeing the overhead that they had, it's a no wonder that as other carriers that are non-union got into this LTL game like what they do, that it started to make it tougher for Yellow over, like, Brian said, the last 20 or 30 years to try and continue to operate the way that they did.
And Brian, that makes you wonder, can you expect to see more trucking companies file for bankruptcy in the immediate future?
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at the spot market, you look at the fuel prices, the regulations that are coming down through the Biden administration. Yeah, I think you could expect to see more companies going out of business or filing bankruptcy in the near future.
That's scary.
Yeah, not a good
That's not
news
good.
note to leave this conversation on. But of course, we appreciate you gentlemen's time, and we hope you stay employed and with that job that helps get the goods across the country. Mike and Brian, thanks so much for coming on today.